Welcome to MomsPumpHere, hashtag the pink life.
I'm Kim.
I'm Priya.
I'm Sue.
And today's topic is family leave.
Yes, there's a lot going on about family leave. There's a lot, especially happening in New York right now. Last week, the Assembly decided to pass legislation that will extend some of our paternity leave, and Governor Cuomo gave more insight into his decision to kind of improve it, and that was because of when his dad was sick last year and then his dad passed away. He feels like he is ready to help New York put family first. So we kind of wanted to have that conversation about what worked for us, what we found was helpful, what didn't work for us, what was really not helpful for us. And so we wanted to share that with our moms.
So with my kids, with Jaden, so all three of my kids were different. I don't know if you had the same type of...
Same thing, different stories.
My first one, I did it by the books. I think I was off for the 6 weeks. For maternity leave, paid maternity leave, and
Huge. Not everybody has that.
Yeah, and then I did a couple extra weeks of family leave where I was on Cobra, which is really expensive insurance.
So your benefits stopped once you stopped being paid.
Exactly.
So your company did not pay your benefits.
But I also work for a nonprofit, so nonprofit world is sort of different.
Right.
But they, I came right back, and they were very accommodating. I had my own office, so I was able to pump at work, did what I had to do, to make sure that Jaden had whatever he needed.
Okay.
And then Ava, I think I wanted to go back to work quicker. Back to back, 18 months apart. So Ava, I went back to work right after the 6 weeks. And I was happy with that. I was like, I have myself again,
Right.
And then Limmy, I really pushed it. Like I was off for the paid leave, and then I took family leave. And I don't remember it clearly, but it was a long time that I was out. He was born in December, and I went back officially to work in September, and then I quit in October.
My experience definitely different from yours because I worked for a small business. And
so the 50 minimum person rule doesn't apply to them.
Exactly. So I actually worked up until the day I went into labor for both of my kids.
Oh my God.
And then for my first son,
did they offer you to go home earlier?
They asked if I was going to go home early, and I said, no, I think I'm just going to work until the end because I just, I like
save the leave.
And then I was out for 3 months before I went back, and it was not 3 months paid because it's a small company.
Yeah.
So, and then after my second baby was born, I just stayed home.
I know that when I knew I was going to get married and have children, I worked for a small company, and we had 47 employees, and I campaigned for them to get 3 more employees. I said, let's bring it up to 50.
If they were that close, they could have been flexible.
But they don't have to meet the mandate.
Yeah.
And that's a big burden on a small company. They were small, they were public, but they were family run. And I liked them. I liked everything about them.
I think according to the law that they have to still provide some type, I know when you come back, some type of space or whatever.
Well, for pumping, yes.
For pumping, it's different.
For pumping, of course. But I knew that I wanted to take 6 weeks leave.
Yeah.
And I wanted it to be paid. So I consciously looked for another job that had more than 50 employees. Which employers need to consider that when they're hiring, and I don't want it to come back negatively. Don't hire women of childbearing age.
But you have a really smart, intelligent woman that is great capital for your business, great, employee. You don't want to lose them.
Right, but it wasn't the main reason that I left that company, but it was a reason in the back of my head of, okay, when I, am ready to have children, they're not going to support me the way a larger company has to.
Yeah.
So I left, and then when I had my first baby, I had this terrible experience. It was a great big company. It was a big multinational. We had 90,000 employees, and I thought I had followed all of the protocol for the policies. I had everything all in order, and I was in preterm labor, and I was having trouble working, and my provider said, you need to just stop. And I was due, but I wasn't supposed to have the baby at that point. I was in the 37-week window where my care provider said, this is time. And so my insurance company said, sure, not quit, but stop working. We'll pay you. This is disability. This is how it works.
Yeah.
And the day I had the baby, I found out that my benefits were cut because it was unqualified leave. So I was absent without approval.
And they never notified you that this would happen?
They might have, but in the 90,000 person company, it didn't really work out that well. And it didn't get communicated to me because I was home.
So it kind of like slipped through the cracks.
Right, and then I was no longer an employee, so all of my benefits were cut, my 401k was cut, everything had to be reinstated, and I just had a baby. I had my first baby.
And what do you do? 1 week after the baby's born, you have that checkup, you have all these things you have to do.
Right,
Yeah.
and so I thought it was a nightmare. The second baby, I worked up until the day before the baby came, and I went into labor twice at work, and which is uncomfortable for my
Wait, didn't something happen with your coworkers?
Oh goodness.
Is it the
Being
same
pregnant
story?
at this job, and some of my coworkers are friends of ours on MomsPumpHere. So you see us on Facebook, you know who you are. You know who you are. Yes, when I would go to management meetings, and I was very pregnant. Like it was my first baby, my second baby, and I gained a lot of weight. And that's what happens when you're making a baby.
Yeah.
And men didn't want to sit by me. They were afraid they were going to get splashed on when my water broke.
Oh my
This never
God.
happened. Didn't break at work.
Yeah, I mean, when your water breaks, it's really not like how they show in the
Right, there's no
movies.
jar.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
with my daughter, it was.
Oh my God. No, mine just,
I had so much water, it ruined their shoes.
Oh,
the doctor's
really?
shoes. Yeah.
I just
a baby.
I just
It's not a big
trickled.
deal. It's not a big deal.
Oh, I can't believe that though.
I believe it. It's
That's
hopefully it's
shameful.
different now.
That's
Hopefully it's
sexist
different
and
now.
that's shameful.
And my comeback was, you were in someone's belly at one point. You're
Yeah.
a human being. Like
Yeah.
somebody had you
You
in
have
their
a
belly.
navel.
Yeah.
Right. You came out of your mom's belly. Like,
Yeah.
Your mom. Would you want your mom treated the way you're treating me?
I know.
You know,
It's
it was
crazy.
terrible. Like,
Yeah.
I would sit down in the boardroom and, like chairs would part away from
like
me.
the Red Sea.
Right, yes. It was kind of comical, and I had my list of snacks.
Moses.
I had a lot of food.
Staff.
It didn't apply to men who I worked with, though. They were not eligible
Well,
for
if they're
any
afraid-
of this leave.
Well, if they're afraid of getting splashed on, maybe they should.
That's
Well, now all these changes have been made for paternity leave with all these major companies like
Yeah.
the Netflix and
it's
everything
coming.
that you
It's
mentioned.
coming. Yes.
And I know my husband had like a week off.
Which is a
Which-
dream.
it's a
lot.
That's a dream.
Considering.
And it's great for, dad to also bond with the baby.
Right.
Give you a break,
and
clean the
help
house,
out,
Yeah.
right.
And
make some food.
Yeah.
Right.
Tag team, because sometimes you can't, not everybody's going to have extended family to come over and help.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just mom and dad that has to do everything.
Right.
Absolutely.
Maybe you need to go back at 2 weeks for your own sanity.
Yeah.
Because to be home with 3 babies is not easy.
Yep.
Yeah, you feel like the walls are closing in on you. Sometimes you just need that adult interaction. That's what
Yeah.
I used to,
Conversation.
that's what I used to tell my husband all the time. I just need that adult interaction. I'm like, I love my babies, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
sometimes you just need
Your
to
own
be
thing.
outside in the real world.
A hot cup of coffee.
Yeah, sometimes like I used
glass
to
of wine.
love going like grocery shopping. Like I'll go. Like I
Yes,
volunteered.
please, let
Yes,
me
I'll
go.
go. We need gas in the. I'll go to the gas station.
Yes.
We need this. I
Yeah.
volunteered for everything just so I can get out and just interact with other people.
Breathe. too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
But something to consider, if you don't work for a small company, or even if you do, speak to somebody who's gone through it, because they have a lot of insight and a lot of information that they can share with you. After I had my second baby, all the pregnant women were coming to me at work.
Yeah.
They were saying, okay, how did you do it? What did you need to do? What paperwork did you file? And if you know somebody who's already done it, they're going to be able to cut you to the fast track. You can also talk to the people in your HR department and see if those 2 stories match up. See if what other people have gone through matches up with what your latest corporate
Yeah.
policy is.
Yeah.
And should we also speak to your insurance carrier to find out?
Yes, but be careful that story matches up with your HR team's policy.
Okay.
And that's where the negative was for me, was
Okay.
that X insurance company, their website said this, according
Okay.
to my company, and then when I looked on my intranet in my own corporation,
Okay, so
it
make-
was different.
Okay,
It was
so make
different.
sure all the lines are.
Yeah.
Right. And
Crossed.
then know that right now it's 12 weeks and it's not all paid. So you want to talk to your HR team and find out, will that paid leave take away from my 12 weeks of the family medical leave? Because for my company it did. So if I was paid for 12 weeks, you can't extend it to another 24 weeks.
Yeah.
That's not
Okay.
the way the policy works.
Yeah.
But it sounds like for you,
For the last
it might
one.
have worked out
yeah,
that way.
pushed it really long for Liam.
Which
as
is
much
fantastic.
time as possible.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So yeah, talk to other parents who have gone through it. See if your partner's company will allow for him or her to also receive the benefit.
Oh.
And then maybe you can
Tag team a little bit.
dovetail it together so that
Oh, that's a
maybe
great
you're not
idea.
off.
So if your husband or your partner has the family leave for 3 months, when you go back to work, he or she could stay home with the baby.
Right. Or you can be very creative with it, and I believe you can use it on an hourly or daily basis. So for our family, my husband took off, I think, every Tuesday for 4 weeks, and that worked for us because then I got
that's
a
smart
break.
too.
You know, and I was home, but then I felt more comfortable taking a shower. I felt more comfortable.
Yes.
You know, I could go to my doctor's appointments.
Yeah.
Go to my things.
Yeah.
And
You
that
can
was for the
schedule your
first baby.
things.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
All right.
And then we also have more information on our website, on our Facebook page.
On MomsPumpHere.com.
Yes.
Definitely register on MomsPumpHere.com.
Yes. There's lots of tidbits that you don't know about unless you register for us.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Download the app. Follow us on Facebook,
Yes.
Twitter, Instagram.
All social media. So
That's it.
thanks for joining us.
Bye. If you like this video, click here to subscribe. If you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you would like to download the Moms Pump Here Nursery Locator app, click up here.